Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Now today you can see that the format is a little bit different to what I've done in the past, and that is because I wanted to do like a little bit of a talk about how I organise myself. It's kind of like a plan with me video, but I'm not going to be setting up my journal for the month or the week or whatever. I just want to introduce you to the different ways that I kind of organise myself throughout like the year or the week or the month. You will have seen a lot of people tend to use one journal or planner or bullet journal. But I actually use a lot of different methods, and this is because I tend to keep different organisational parts of my life separate from each other. So today we're going to start with this notebook, which I introduced to you in my January favourites video as my bullet journal, which is what it is in short. It is my bullet journal for 2017, has the key and instructions in the beginning, and my contents, and you can see what's already in here so far, which isn't very much, because I don't utilise this journal on a daily basis like a lot of people do. I just kind of every now and then pick it up and write stuff in. It's actually more of a brain dump type book for me, so that's just a quick introduction to that, and that is basically all that is in there at the moment. But it is just kind of a brain dump thing. I don't really use this as much to organise myself as I do some of the other things that I'm going to show you. So moving on, the next thing is this book. This book I also introduced to you in my favourites video, and that is my video and blog post ideas workbook. So this book is where I work through, surprise surprise, my video ideas and blog post ideas, and it is only for that. That is all it is for. It is essentially for social media only, where I just plan what I'm going to post, when I'm going to post it, and what it is, like what the content is. So in here recently is some blog post lists, and other bits. Here is actually the plan for this video right now, which is quite interesting. Obviously I've listed all the things that I want to talk about. So that is just this book, which you can find a little bit more information on where I got it in my January favourites video, because I talked about the book side rather than the content in that video. Another book, funnily enough, that I use to plan my time is this rose gold like hardback book, and this is my academic notes, because everyone has to make notes. So this one is literally academic notes. You will notice that the paper is an alarming shade of yellow, and this is purely because I'm actually dyslexic, and this is the type of paper that really helps me the most. But the thing with the dyslexic type yellow paper that is in this book is you generally can get it from Pucker Pad. They, as a brand, make a varying different type of dyslexic coloured papers, and they all just come in like a boring refill pad. And this actual paper in this book I've had for over 3 years, and there isn't actually that much of it, but I've had it for so long because it was in a horrible, disgusting refill pad that I never used. And I would always buy other nice notebooks like this, and I would always substitute using the paper that helped me the best for an aesthetically pleasing notebook. So I decided enough was enough, and I actually rebound this whole book, as you can see here. Let me just focus that for you. So this whole book here is rebound using the paper from the Pucker Pad, and I bound it into this nice book that I really like, so I know that I will definitely use it, which is obviously an advantage, because there's no point knowing about a problem that you have if you're not going to actually do the things that you know will help you. So this is purely academic notes, and these are academic notes that I keep separate from another type of academic notes, which I will then go on to talk about. The next thing on my list is not a notebook as such, but it is still a pad, and this is a flip. This is a list. It has a ball clip at the top, and the pad unclips from it, and the actual board itself is like a marbly texture and has a rose gold ball clip on there. So if I didn't actually have the pad attached, I could really clip anything I wanted. So I just clip that on there, and this hangs on my desk on a nail that I put into the desk so that it would hang nicely. As you can see, I've ticked everything off on my list at the moment, so that page can actually come off, and that is to do a presentation, which you might have seen the notes for in the last academic book. I painted the door, I wrote a blog post, and I have now, after this video is finished, I will have filmed 2 videos, so a second tick can go alongside that one, which is very satisfying. So that is exactly what it says in the tin. It is things to do, and that is just a to-do list of things that I have clearly on display for myself all the time, so it's really hard to ignore. The next thing is a little bit more interesting and a little bit different. So I think this one might have a bit of a reflection from the light, so I might turn the light off. Yeah, that's a bit better. So this one is a calendar. You can't really see all of it. I will zoom out. Sorry about the tripod in the view now that I've zoomed out. So this is actually just a normal calendar that I've put in a frame, and the reason I've put it in a frame is because it's just a nicer way to display it. It's a little bit more interesting, but also because of the black paper, and because of the black paper I have to use a white paint marker to write anything on here, but obviously because of that it means that I can't pencil anything in, as people like to say, oh, just pencil it in. So if I write something down, it is permanent, and which you will have seen here. If you look just here, it says TAT ? Because it was preliminary booked in, and then I had to move it, so then it made a bit of a mess of the days where I actually had to move it across to a new day. So basically, this January, which is the one that's still on display, was the first of this calendar, and I've decided that I no longer want to actually write directly on the thing. So what I'm going to do now in front of you is I'm going to change the month, and this time I'm going to do what I actually just said. So I'm going to put it straight in the frame. I'm not going to write anything on it, and it means that I can use the paint marker on the glass of the frame, and that means that if I actually end up rescheduling some things, it's not a problem, because it'll rub straight off, and I can just rub it off, and then it will be changed way easier than making a mess of the whole page by having to cross everything out in the actually quite thick marker. You can't write a lot in the squares because it's a quite thick marker, paint marker, so you can literally write 1 or 2 words, that's it. So once you start crossing things out and trying to rewrite the words, it makes a hell of a mess. So there you go. I have now changed it onto the month of February, and it is of course blank, but I can now use this paint marker that I have that I use to write on here with. So that is just another thing that I use to organise my time. So the next thing that I want to talk about as a way that I organise my time is my phone. So all of you will probably have a phone. Many of you may well be watching this video on your phone right now, and my phone I find is the easiest way to keep track of the things that I'm doing, and that's because frankly it is with me all the time. I could forget everything that is importance that I need for that day, absolutely everything that I need for the day of importance, but I will never forget my phone. It is always with me. So for that reason, my phone is a very great organisational tool. So if we just look at my phone for a second, on here I actually have some apps to help me organise, and one of my favourites is the Google Calendar app. And this is a favourite of mine because my uni actually, handily enough, happens to actually upload. I don't know how well you can see it. I might turn the brightness down and able to help you see. Now you can see a bit better. So my uni actually puts my timetable onto the Google Calendar automatically, which is amazing because I can go through and I can see what I'm actually timetabled for at uni, and I can also see my personal timetable. So if I change what I'm looking at the moment, I'm looking at all of the events from my university email address, but I can also change that and add events from my personal email address, which means as well as my timetable for uni, also all of my personal events will show up on here as well. So it basically, I can look at my whole week and every commitment that I have, all in one place, whether it be uni or not uni, and it's always in my pocket because it is on my phone. So that's my phone and why it is so important. And the last thing on my list today of organisational tools that I use is my iPad and my Apple Pencil. These things come with me to uni, to lectures, and the reason that is, you've already seen my academic notebook, and that notebook is for kind of generic things, like there's a plan in there for a generic essay. So if I have an essay to write, I will use that plan as a generic starting point. But my iPad comes with me for all of the more specific lecture notes. So I have the Evernote app. This is not sponsored, but I have the Evernote app, which I think is absolutely fantastic for this kind of thing. It doesn't like to focus on screens very well. So the Evernote app I use actually to handwrite onto. You can see here a very specific set of lecture notes here that were written during a lecture, and the reason that I do this like this is because obviously there are so many lectures that writing it all out in a notebook would mean that I literally will go through 5 notebooks before the year is over, and I kind of don't want to have to keep that many, so I do it on here. And then I print the week out, and I file it away, and then I delete the whole week, so I can then start the next week completely free and start again and write new notes up. So that's Evernote on my iPad. This also displays the reason why I keep the general notes separate. It means that that notebook will last me way longer, and I can use it for everything. So the notes that I've written now, like I said, there is a exam checklist in there. I can add to that list and change the list, but ultimately I can still be using that list like in my 3rd year of degree. Whereas the notes that I'm writing on my iPad are obviously week by week, very specific to the lectures, can be used for revision, but other than that, that's all that their use goes for. Whereas the other notebook is very specifically designed for me to be able to refer to it again and again and again. So that is the last item on my list. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I actually enjoyed filming this video with the new format. Now that I've moved all of the things out the way, you can see my very dirty desk. But this was very interesting to film for me. It's a new style. So make sure if you enjoyed it, you do give it a thumbs up, because I do love to see what you do and don't enjoy, so I know what to make more of. And comment down below if you have any other methods of organisation that you find useful that I could try, or if I have shown you a method of organising that you would like to try. That would be nice too. So for now, that is all. But I will see you next week for another video. Bye!